What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm the one and only
Waiver Wire Queen.
Waiver Wire Queen. Thank you for tuning in today. By tuning in, you're not blowing another opportunity to get ahead of your competition out here in these fantasy football streets, because we all know fantasy football is a full-time job. It's 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. That is right, especially if you are in a dynasty league. Today, I'm going to give you 3 running backs whose stock is all the way up. I'm talking about their stock skyrocketed to the top, y'all. And it's simply because of their situations have changed, or better quarterbacks around. Other players have moved on, which has positioned them to be the lead back, per se. Nonetheless, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you go on over to Spotify, Apple, and Google and rate the show. Let's jump right into it. So I'm going to drop 3 running backs where I feel stock is up. It's going to be running backs on this list that you're like, yeah, I figured that. Yes, but it's going to be on a whole nother level. You can produce, but there can be a cap on your production, especially if you're in a committee. So let me just give them to you. First up on this list, there's no surprise, Javonte Williams. Obviously, we all knew his stock was going to increase because, 1, he had a very good rookie year. 2, the Broncos haven't shown any true signs that they're going to re-sign Melvin Gordon, which means that is going to be more touches for Javonte Williams, and we love more touches for Javonte Williams because at times last year, his production was capped because there were those moments where the Broncos went with Melvin Gordon. But you can see the signs slowly and surely that this was going to be Javonte Williams' backfield. And it is. Okay, so even if they was to bring Melvin Gordon back, I believe it's Javonte's field, it's his world, and that's simply what it is going to be out here in these fantasy football streets for us, especially in a dynasty league. Very good running back to have. So if you are doing a startup dynasty league, he's a running back I would be targeted. Let's talk about his stats for the 2021 season. So he played all 17 games, which is amazing. Not a lot of players are able to do that, and he was able to do so, especially as a rookie. Sometimes you see the teams, they will break the rookies in slowly, bring them along a little bit, just to kind of see what they have, and then they'll unleash them, especially if the team's not going anywhere. He was in the mix throughout the whole entire season. Rushing stats, 203 attempts. That is going to increase by a whole lot. I honestly feel like the best move for his long-term situation is for them to add another back. I do feel like they should keep the Williams-Gordon tandem going, but, you know, Elway don't like listening to Waiver Wire Queen. He started listening to me, y'all. But nonetheless, those 203 attempts are going to go up. He's gonna get well over 1,000 yards. He had 903 rushing yards on the season. That is going to increase drastically. He's gonna be the lead guy. He is going to show out, especially now that he has a legit quarterback that the defense is going to have to respect. So all of these little signs and moves this offseason has positioned Javonte Williams to take the next step. And it's going to be a huge step that, if you already have him, you will see the rewards. You will see a reward, and it'll be a high return on your investment, because when you drafted Javonte, you definitely drafted him in the first round, and you drafted him high as hell. He may have been the second running back off the board, or the third running back off the board in last year's rookie draft. He had 4 touchdowns and averaged 4.45 yards per carry. I expect the touchdowns to increase. And again, attempts are going to increase by a whole lot. I expect his yardage to increase as well. I do not want to see him hit 300 or over. I don't want to see that for him so early on, which is why I was saying they should most likely bring Gordon back. But again, me and Elway, we not seeing eye to eye out here in these NFL streets. But hopefully they don't try to run him into the ground. Okay. Receiving yards. Let's talk about it. 316 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 53 targets, 43 receptions. He's going to be more involved in the receiving game, so that should increase. All his stats will increase. He'll most likely have a career year, especially if they do not bring Gordon back. So if you have Javonte again, stock all the way up. It was already going up, but all the way up. Once they made that trade and got Wilson, all the way up. And again, doesn't look like they're bringing Gordon back. So again, if you have him, great. If you can get him, go on and snatch him up. He's definitely being set up for a great season in fantasy. Let's talk about Michael Carter. That's right. Running back with the Jets. Michael Carter is on this list because he came along last season. He didn't start the season off as the starting running back for the Jets, which he should have, because Tevin Coleman just wasn't going to cut it. Ty Johnson is not a lead back. But Carter and Johnson, they pretty much played well together. I had Carter ending up taking that backfield at some point last year. Was a little bit later than I expected, but nonetheless he did. And he's going to start the season as the lead back unless the Jets do something crazy and draft Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker high as hell, which I don't think they're going to do it, but you just never know with the draft. So if they don't make any crazy moves at that position, Michael Carter is the guy. He is the starter, and he should have a much better season. His stats should increase. Statistically, it'll probably be a career year because obviously he's coming off his rookie season and he's now going to be the lead back. So his workload is going to increase. Let's talk about his stats. Played 14 games, 147 attempts. That should increase if he remains the lead back. 639 yards. That should go up as well. 4 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.35 yards per carry. Solid for a running back who wasn't the lead back for the most part. And then he missed a few games. And then it's just at times the Jets look terrible on offense. So with all of that, I would say it was a solid season, and the expectations are sky high. The expectations are through the roof because they're expecting the Jets to take the next step. They're expecting Wilson to take the next step. They're expecting Michael Carter to take the next step. And they're expecting more to take the next step. And when I say Jets take the next step, I don't mean playoffs. But they should be moving in a direction to where they are more competitive, because they were not competitive last year. It wasn't a good year. But you had a bunch of rookies. And you're going to start seeing some better play. Well, you should see better play, and it's going to start with Wilson, and that's going to trickle down to players like Carter, and Moore was already moving in that direction with his stock up. So with Carter, if you can get him, it's not going to cost you a lot. He's one of those running backs that you definitely can target in a trade and buy low, because you're going to be rewarded at the end of the season. Don't overpay for him. But just know that if you do make a move to get him, it's going to pay off. It simply is. And all I can say is stock up Michael Carter. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave some comments, guys. Let's talk about Marlon Mack. I know all of y'all looking at me like, did she say Marlon Mack? Hell yeah, I said Marlon Mack. I said Marlon Mack. Okay? Marlon Mack signed with the Texans. The Texans last year, they was throwing any and everybody out there as their running back. The ball boy was the running back. The damn fan all the way in the top of the stadium was the running back. I was the running back for a hot second, y'all. They put any and everybody out there as their running back. Marlon Mack is very talented. It's just the health. That's it. He came back last season, but by then, Jonathan Taylor was the guy. He took that job and ran with it. And the Colts made the right decision. You have this stud running back. Time to move on from the running back who was good but always hurt. Marlon Mack has a fresh start. The thing is with the Texans is, are they going to draft a running back? They may draft a running back, and that may decrease his value and his stock will go down. So we'll have to see. But right now, his stock is on the rise because they signed him, and to me, he would be the running back to start. He should be at the top of the depth chart right now, because who the hell else on that damn roster is capable of being a solid running back? No one. But the key is health with Marlon Mack. If he can remain healthy and they don't draft Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, then Marlon Mack should be the lead back and he should be productive. They're going to have to add another running back at some point, and I expect them to add someone else in the draft. But again, if it's a rookie that they want to compliment Marlon Mack, because say they do feel like he is going to be that guy for them, at least this season, that helps you in fantasy. And like for me in my dynasty league, I just picked him up off of waivers last week. When he signed, I picked him up. I actually traded him also before he was signed in another league, and I got 2 third-rounders for him, and I expect to do some damage with those picks in this draft, and I'm pleased with that. I drafted Marlon Mack in the startup league a few years ago, startup dynasty league a few years ago. Started off strong early on in that game, and then, the injury occurred. I've been holding on to him. Wasn't going to release him. Probably if he performs well this season, then maybe I could have got more for him, but I wanted to acquire more draft capital in this draft because I feel like there's some really good players who will help me in my rebuild, and I didn't consider him part of my rebuild. But I have some players that I have identified with those picks who can potentially help me with my rebuild in my dynasty league. So that is why I'm not butthurt that I, moved on from him in that league. But I did pick him up in another league. And I'm hoping that he produces. I'm hoping that he's able to remain healthy. If he's able to remain healthy and the Texans don't do anything drastic at the running back position, like, again, draft one of the top 3 running backs, then that Marlon Mack is definitely going to be the lead back, and it's going to be up to him. It's going to be up to him to remain healthy, and he'll have the opportunity to produce. And if he produces, kudos to anyone who's taking a chance on him. But I mean, you're not spending a whole bunch of money on him. Mostly he was probably on waivers. Like in the dynasty league that I was in, I still believed in him and I was going to get something for him, and I did. And again, I identified who I'm targeting with those picks. So I'm hoping that, it works out in my favor. But for Marlon Mack, I'm going to say right now, stock up, just based on the fact that right now, if we were to start today, he would be the lead back. And even if they do draft another running back, if they don't draft one of the top 3 guys, Marlon Mack, again, should have the opportunity to lead that backfield. And if he can remain healthy, he'll be solid, because when he has been healthy, when he played for the Colts, he looked very, very good. And that's just facts with Marlon Mack. All right, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go on over to Spotify, Apple, Google, and leave some ratings. And listen to the podcast. We have some great content over there for you as well. Make sure you leave some comments and let us know what running backs you have on your list whose stock is up And also make sure you like and share with all of your fantasy football friends. All right, y'all. Peace.